everyone, my name is Meera. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a weekend vlog. Yesterday was supposed to be my binge watch Money Heist Korea day, but then some work came up and so I've not been able to watch a single episode of the show. Today is Saturday and I'm going to be heading out for a while, but the plan is to get back home after having some yummy Rajasthani thali and doing some book shopping and then binge watching the entire first season of the show. So it's been a while since I filmed a video on this channel, I know, but I hope you enjoy watching this vlog. We just got back home and oh my god, the book fair was so crowded. It was raining cats and dogs. The line was ridiculously long. So I feel like I didn't spend as much time as I would have wanted. It was more of a try to find great reads in an hour challenge, and I'm pretty satisfied with the books that I got. I got 9 books and I bought the not the medium size, the smallest box, which cost about 1200 rupees. So the books that I got, I'll do sort of like a haul tomorrow. Now I am so excited to binge watch Money Heist, and this vlog is not going to be entirely about Money Heist, but I just want to tell you a little bit about it because the Spanish version, which has 5 seasons, is one of my all-time favorite TV shows. Honestly, I think it's one of the best TV shows I've ever watched. It's very riveting. It has great plot points. The actors have done such a commendable job with their characters. There are a lot of twists and turns as well, which you will not see coming. On the whole, it's just such an engaging show, and every time I watch like the soundtrack or I come across the actors' posts, I feel like I want to rewatch the entire thing again. So now I'm super excited because the Korean remake of the show is supposedly set in a alternate reality kind of context wherein North Korea and South Korea are united. So it's about a bunch of people who come together, some North Koreans, some South Koreans, and they plan a heist, and it's going to be fantastic. At least I hope so. So I'm gonna go binge watch that now. In case you guys are wondering what I'm currently reading, I'm reading the second book in the Parveen Mystery Investigates series by Sujata Masse. This is the Satapur Moonstone, and the first one was A Murder on Malabar Hill, which I really enjoyed. It's a fun, not very intense kind of murder mystery series. This one doesn't revolve around a murder per se, but it has some kind of a mystery at the core of the plot. So this is what I'm currently reading. Last night I just started with the book and I read about 30 pages. Today I'll see how much I can read, but I don't think I'm gonna get much reading done today either. So if you guys are looking for a fun mystery series to pick up, then definitely consider this one by Sujata Masse. There's also a third book that came out in this series recently as well. So you could definitely binge watch I'm still thinking about Money Heist. So you could definitely binge read the whole thing. Good morning. Yesterday night, I saw about 3.5 episodes of Money Heist Korea. The first scene of the first episode starts off with a BTS song, which I loved. It's DNA. I know there might be people out there who think that the show is trying to tap into BTS popularity, but I also love drawing parallels, okay? So I totally think that it could be a way of the show trying to set the tone for the message that they're trying to communicate, because many of BTS songs have always stood for sending out a positive message, you know, inspiring people to create a better world, and some of the lyrics will even show you that it's against capitalism. So you can see where that makes sense, right? As I was watching the first episode, I initially felt like the dialogue didn't really pack a punch compared to the Spanish show, but I soon changed my mind about that. Tokyo's voiceover starts off, you learn more about it, there's a sense of intrigue that's created, so it gets better, like all in good time. One thing I am so impressed about already is that this drama is really well casted. These actors, they hold some resemblance to the characters that they're playing from the original show, and also they bring their own take to it. There's a sense of nuance to their performance which you will notice if you watch the Spanish one, that it's different from it, but at the same time very well done. I've always loved watching Korean dramas. I've been watching them since I was 18 years old, which is what, 9 years now. I think they have a knack for creating short, crisp TV series, and they're also able to tie up loose ends very persuasively. So I'm even more excited to watch their version of Money Heist, to see what they do with it, because based on these first 3 episodes, I know that things are going to be different. I know they're going to bring their own take to it, their own uh, storyline, and their own themes, which will be memorable in a sense. The socio-political context of this drama adds a lot to the plot, and I think that's one of my favorite aspects of the show so far. Remember how yesterday I was talking about the background of it? Essentially, the North Korean and South Korean leaders, they come together and they're trying to make this reunification work economically and culturally, so that it is in the favor of both of the countries. But you can also make out that things are not as they seem. So far, we're introduced to the backstory of some of the characters, but I feel like the initial couple of episodes have significantly been invested in the establishment of the show. So it's just like the professor, he's reaching out to Tokyo and other characters. Now, because I know what happens to some of these characters like Lisboa and Stockholm, I keep trying to connect the dots and picture them as future versions of themselves. So when there's some difference to their storylines, I am pleasantly surprised. I have a little over 2 episodes left of the show, which I'm going to finish watching today, so I'll share an update. Yesterday night, I read about 50 pages of the Satapur Moonstone. Where is it? The Satapur Moonstone. And I must say, I love this series. I love Purveen Mystery's character. She's one of those characters that will stay memorable. Like, if you've read the Sherlock Holmes series, or if you've read any of Feluda's adventures, you know where I'm going with this. I wish the author would write like 10 more books in this series. So far, it's just about how she has reached the palace and she's like meeting the Maharanis there, trying to figure out what's going on here. But I'm very, very engaged with this book. The writing style, the plot, and the plot developments that are occurring. Definitely recommend that you check out the Satapur Moonstone if you haven't read the book already. That reminds me, I also have to show you the books I got yesterday. So I'm going to do a bit of a haul sometime in the afternoon. It's 2 p.m. and I'm really hungry, but I'm going to quickly do the book haul. As I mentioned, I got 9 books from the sale yesterday. There's a good mix of Asian literature, some historical fiction, fantasy, basically all the genres that I love reading. The first book is We That Are Young by Preeti Taneja. This is inspired by Shakespeare's King Lear, and it's set in contemporary India. There is a cast of characters which I love. I love books wherein there are several characters and all of them are equally focused on throughout the narrative, and there are some incredible authors who are able to do justice to such a novel. So I hope this is going to be one of them. Some of the themes in this book are corruption, power struggle, and youth identities. I've seen this not as frequently on social media, but whichever reviews I've read, they've said great things about the book. So I'm really keen to pick this up. Next is Stephen King's Full Dark, No Stars. If you didn't know this already, I love horror novels. And The Shining is one of my all-time favorite book. So this is going to be my second Stephen King book. And this is a collection of short stories. There are 4 stories in here which explore the dark side of human instinct. This also has some great reviews on Goodreads, so definitely go check this out. It's not one of Stephen King's more spoken of books, which is surprising considering the great things I've read in the reviews, but yeah, when I saw this I knew that I definitely had to get it. Something that's written on the cover of this book is it possible to fully know anyone, even those we love the most? Definitely picking that up as soon as possible. The next book is Sarah Waters' Fingersmith. This is a historical fiction. It is about a woman who meets a con man and she gets persuaded by him to join his team. Now, I think it's amply clear from this video that I enjoy watching TV shows and reading books that are centered around heists. I saw this and I read the synopsis and I'm like, why have I not heard of this before? Plus, this is a really fun edition of the book because this is from the World Book Night. So there are only a few copies of this edition made. I know the cover is pretty simple, but it's nice to have unique editions of books, right? So I have 3 of Sarah Waters' books and I haven't read any of them. I just keep getting them because I love the synopsis and I do definitely see myself reading this sometime. Next is Beowulf. I was walking past one of the aisles at the book sale and this book caught my attention because it's a unique name, right? And it's something that I had studied in a semester in college, but I don't remember much of it. This is a classic novel that has poems, and so I just thought, why not give it a try again? And got myself a copy of this. The 5th book is 50 of the World's Greatest Speeches. If you're new on this channel and you've not watched any of my videos before, I don't read a lot of non-fiction. And every year I keep telling myself that I should read more non-fiction. I especially don't read books that are based on speeches. But then I keep picking up these kinds of books and I'm like, Meera, you should do it. You should read better books. And here I feel like I'm gonna be persuaded sooner to pick this up because there are speeches from influential figures from all over the world. There's speeches by Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, let's see, Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi, John F. Kennedy, Adolf Hitler, Winston Churchill, King Charles, Napoleon Bonaparte. So you get the gist. This is one of those books that I feel like would add a lot of value in terms of just building a knowledge about what people have said, how that has shaped history, how that has shaped countries, and what's gonna happen in the future. So I picked this up and I'm hopefully gonna get to it soon. The next book is, A Tale of Wonder, Katha Kautukam by Srivara. I've never heard of this book before, but I read something on the synopsis which made me want to pick it up. It is an epic love poem. It's about a woman who gets visions and how that really has dire consequences on the way her life pans out. It's a short read, and as I'm flipping through these pages, I see that there's not much on each of these pages. So the font is pretty big in size considering other classic novels, and I think it would be easier to get through. Yeah, definitely. Now, unlike that book, there is one which is a ginormous tome. This is Shekhar Alive by Agyeya. It was originally written in Hindi, so it's a translated novel, and that's always good to have. It's about the life of a political prisoner who's about to be executed. It's a historical fiction which is set in pre-independent India. Uh, I really enjoy reading books that are set in pre-independent India and also ones that are set during the freedom movement. So those are two time periods, two historical time periods that I'm always keen to learn more about through historical fiction. Uh, this one definitely seems more intimidating, but I anyway caved and picked it up simply because of what it covers. We're down to the last two books. This is A Map of Days by Ransom Riggs. It's the fourth book in the Peregrine's Children. That's the name? Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children series. Now, this is typical reader slash hoarder behavior when you pick up the fourth book in a series but you haven't read the first three. I have the first three and I saw this. And mind you, I was under a time crunch. I had to pick up books quickly, saw this, and I'm like, I could just like pinch read the whole thing, so it makes sense to get this or not. Because Meera, you don't know whether you like the first three or not. Anyway, I wanted to get it, I did. So as I was saying before the phone battery conked off, this is one of the books I got, A Map of Days. This is a YA fantasy with some elements of horror, and I think this is also structured just like the other books. There are a lot of photos in between, some creepy ones, you see? And I bought it with the hope that I'm going to binge the whole thing. Haven't gotten around to reading the first three books yet. Let's see when that happens. Now the ninth book is Incredia by Sarang Mahajan. This is an Indian fantasy novel which is so exciting. I've seen a review of this book on Manpreet's channel, Indian Booktuber, and ever since then I've been keeping my eye on it. So when I saw this at Bookchore's Lock the Box sale, I picked it up. Incredia is about a villager who finds himself being hunted down by assassins, and so he has to escape them. He then embarks on a journey to figure out what's really going on. Definitely an interesting premise, and this was the last book that I got from yesterday's sale. Let me know if you've read either of those books. Are there any of your favorites? Any that you think I should just drop everything I'm doing and pick up? I will look forward to your thoughts. After finishing with lunch, I'm also going to help my mom do some photo shoot for her Instagram page. I'll leave a link to her Instagram page in the description in case you want to go check out and get yourself some macram products. And I'm done watching part 1 of Money Heist Korea. I have mixed feelings about it. So the thing about remakes is that you're just constantly comparing it to the original show. It's something I guess that's bittersweet about watching remakes, because often they're not allowed to exist as an individual piece of text or an individual show, something that's been created by a different director and a different set of writers who have their own vision. It inevitably gets put into a box, and sometimes you may not appreciate what's different about it. So here, many of the characters' motivations are different as compared to in the Spanish show, and that makes perfect sense considering the world they live in. As I mentioned before, the actors have all done a great job, and the casting director, kudos to them. My favorites from the remake are Denver, Nairobi, and Berlin. This season wasn't as thrilling as I was hoping for it to be. Granted that it's only 6 episodes and it's only the first part. So many of these episodes are about understanding the characters and their motivations and how the whole heist is being planned. I would have still loved to get that sense of sitting at the edge of your seat, being that thrilled and excited while watching it. And I think that was not really there. Nevertheless, I really enjoyed watching it. And the last episode leaves a lot of questions unanswered, which, of course, cliffhanger. But the screenwriters know that people who genuinely enjoy watching K-dramas and who've been watching it for a while, or those who have watch the original Spanish show are going to be invested in this series simply because they want to know where it's going. So don't hesitate to watch it. It is definitely worth your time. Whether you watch the Spanish one or not, I'm pretty sure you're going to appreciate it. To wrap up this video, I'm going to share a reading update for the Satapur Moonstone. I've read up until page 175. Parveen right now is treading on thin ice. The Maharanis are not exactly great people to be interacting with. They have their own prejudices. Although I feel like the first 5 to 7 chapters are a bit slow paced. It takes a while for the writing to delve into the plot and for the action and plot developments to start occurring. I still really enjoy the writing and I am very much engrossed while reading this book. I also really like the scenes with Purveen and Colin and definitely see or suspect where the author is going with this. I plan to finish reading this in the next couple of days. As much as I want to pick up the third book in the series, I don't think that's happening this year given my reading list and TBR. But I would highly recommend this series to anyone who is looking for a fun, light-hearted mystery series that is set in India. This particularly shows you how the British rule has influenced a specific echelon of society, and that's an interesting point. The author definitely incorporates more social and cultural norms and themes like that in her writing, which is always great to see. That's it for my reading and watching update. I hope you had fun watching this video, and if you're either going to read this book or watch Money Heist, let me know that. I will see you soon in another video. Bye!
One eternity later.
Okay, it's been a while since that last clip you just saw. It's been about 4 or 5 months. So the thing is, I filmed my reaction to the first part of Money Heist, did the whole reading vlog, the book shopping, and then I never really got around to editing the video. The next thing I knew, it was December and the second part of Money Heist had aired too. So I thought, why not just film a review for that too and club the whole thing and put up this video. The second part opens soon after the last scene of the last episode, and there isn't really a time leap or anything like that. These last 6 episodes are so much more immersive with the high stakes and rapid plot progression. I binge watched the whole thing and didn't feel a lull in the pacing at all. There were times when I wondered if the writers perhaps made Professor's character a more toned down version, because if you watch the Spanish show, then you might agree with me. The sheer brilliance that Alvaro Morte displays in the character of El Professor, that was missing here sometimes. Actor Yujite, on the other hand, brings a vulnerability to the character of El Professor, which is, of course, an interesting take, but that's just a difference that I observed. Even with Berlin, the depiction of his narcissistic personality is not quite there. But I really like the depth of character that Jesus brings, the way he portrays Berlin's tragic past, his motivations. There's a sense of angst and unresolved frustration which comes across very persuasively through Jesus' acting. The soundtrack of this part is also really good. Actually speaking, I don't think there's a single Korean drama that I watched where I felt like the music wasn't good. Trust Me is the title track, and I think all of you should listen to it. It's so melodic and just adds the right vibe to the entire show. There are some scenes in this part that will annoy you to no end. I wanted to shake some sense into the characters because they were acting so stupid. I mean, they are part of this big heist, and I was getting apprehensive here. I'm like, you're gonna get caught anytime, you're gonna ruin the whole plan. Please just stop it. But of course, this whole thing makes sense because the show is, after all, a portrait of how our humanity is our strength but also our weakness. What's commendable is how they've tied in the themes of corruption, economic reunification to the professors and Berlin's backstory. So they use the heist as a vehicle to inform the population, and I love books and TV shows that are thematic and symbolic and they send across a good message. The best thing about part 2 of Money Heist Korea compared to part 1 is that the payoff is mad good. Episodes 9 to 12 deserve an award, okay? I mean, I know I'm hyping all of it up too much, but I was just so excited while watching this part of Money Heist. There were moments where I would be like, oh crap, this whole plan is just gonna collapse. But then there would be a twist, and it was just so wonderful. Like, I was engaged throughout, if you can't make out already. I'm not gonna comment on the ending, but I would have liked for the show to have ended with a couple more scenes, because there's still certain questions that I felt needed a more well-rounded resolution or answer to, and that doesn't happen. But anyway, I loved the show. The sense of fulfillment that I got with 5 seasons of the Spanish show, I got from just these last 6 episodes of the Korean one. So I would highly recommend that you watch Money Heist Korea. It's definitely something worth watching, and it's definitely going to make it into my top 10 Korean dramas of 2022 list. That video is gonna come up next year, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say to conclude this video. If you've been watching all this while, thank you so much for your support, and I hope you have a fantastic year. I don't think I'm gonna have another video out before the year ends, but anyway, happy new year in advance, and I will see you soon. Bye.